Good advanced morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Arthur on your speakers, and welcome back to the brand new episode of Listen to Advance Podcast, the podcast where you will hear lots of information accompanied by a powerful strike of motivation to raise your body out of the couch and start advancing your life beyond recognition. Have you ever been hesitant when your body can't move an inch and starts shaking all the time? If yes, then this episode is right for you because today I'm going to give you a couple of tricks which you can use to break through this barrier of hesitation. What is hesitation? Hesitation is simply fearing to do something, so the most obvious solution is to eliminate fear. But why it appears to be so hard to do that? Actually, our brain is intimidated by a possible failure in a responsible environment. And when you think something's very important to do with a resounding success, we are feared to make a wrong step and trip over a rock. But oftentimes it is necessary to fail to exclude benefit and continue moving forward with a bag of experience and boldness. Because one who makes no mistakes makes nothing at all. We don't realize that standing still and not acting is failure itself. I'm not going to be talking about all these common solutions like don't worry, be confident, everything will be okay. Don't think about that. Well, these ones are definitely necessary to consider, but today I'd like to give you a real exercise that will help you break through hesitation. Let's delve into it. There was actually a very interesting way of preceding fear that I learned from Jai Jan called rejection therapy that he used to stop experiencing fear of rejection that has followed him since childhood and hindered him from taking right actions. He also featured with his talk on TED what I learned from 100 Days of Rejection, and originally it was designed by a Canadian entrepreneur, Jason Conley. And this therapy entails doing silly things where failure is 100% guaranteed and you nearly can't evade it. You may be wondering, why should I fail if I'm here to learn how not to fail? Well, you're partially right, but here's the deal. Jai created a list of silly favors that he had to do along 100 days. On the first day of experiment, he decided to ask a stranger to borrow him $100. So he went to a burly security guard where Jai worked at that time. And as he was approaching him, he started sweating and fidgeting. And when he got there, he said, "Hey sir, can I borrow $100 from you?" The security guard just looked at him and was like, "No, why would you even ask me that?" After that, Jai got into a grinding halt. He didn't know what to do and just ran away with embarrassment. But the truth is, that security guard wasn't intimidating whatsoever. It was a friendly and endearing guy who even asked him why. So in fact, he invited him to explain himself. He didn't reject or dispatch him far away from this place. The next day, he ventured to request a so-named burger refill. So he literally came up to a cashier and asked, "Can I have a burger refill?" The cashier was so perplexed. It was just likewise a drink refill. "Sorry man, we don't do burger refills now, but if you want you can reach out to our manager, so maybe we'll do that in the future." Of course, he got rejected once more. But you know what? As he did these silly things every single day, he incrementally started to become more resilient and confident. Although he was going for it with intended failure, he managed to increase his confidence and do not fear rejection anymore. This way, you can use the same tactic, just try to do some silly things that are inappropriate and extraordinary in our world. If you want to get more details upon this therapy, you are free to download the application called Dare Me, that is available only for iOS devices. However, if you're an Android user, you can download the application called 100 Days of Rejection, where you can find all of the things that Jai did alongside his therapy and apply to your daily life. I'm convinced that this one will help you for sure. Alright, before we move to the ultimate one, I would be glad if you subscribe to our Life Advancing podcast so that you won't miss the latest updates and episodes of our show. I'm pretty sure that almost everybody wanted to approach a beautiful girl or woman but couldn't do that because of worriness that conjures in your mind with thoughts like everything will go right and I will be rejected or will fail, she doesn't like me, Why should I even try and waste my nerves and power on it? Well, number one, you're not miserable and atrocious creature. You consider yourself a handsome person that is ready to take the plunge and conquer that girl. If not, then try the next trick, which is coming up and talking to females that you don't like at all. This will relieve you from sense of getting failed because you don't want it to succeed whatsoever. You just don't give any care about it. I think this is similar to the Jajan's method because as soon as you approach a sufficient amount of such girls, you will be less antsy to approach the one you really like. Dude, stop procrastinating all the time. Maybe this is your best and last chance to do that. I'd like to share with you one of my most memorizing and best stories I could ever have in my life. It is partially correlated with overcoming fear. And first of all, I should point out that I'm Russian. I'm not a native speaker, as some of you might think. And I remember exactly, it was the previous year in summer, my friend from Ukraine was coming to Yalta where I live, and we decided to make an experiment, to pretend ourselves to be native speakers and ask strangers about different attractions that we can find in the city, that we can check out. And basically, our purpose was to find out the level of English of Russian population. And it turned out that it was terrible. It was almost a disaster. Nobody knows English that well. And we were asking lots of people. Some of them brushed off, didn't want to respond whatsoever. Some of them were happy to help, even though they didn't know that English that well. They still gave it a try, and that's great. I remember also we stumbled upon a person who was the animator. He was working at trampolines, and he was basically selling tickets for jumping on trampolines. And when he found out that we are natives, he became so exhilarated and elated, and he even proposed us to jump on these trampolines for free. And it was so funny and entertaining. I tell you, I cannot convey my emotions, but it was truly great. And I remember it very vividly. The next couple of hours, we spent time walking along the embankment till the end of it with a guy from Moscow, and didn't reveal ourselves as a result. We interacted with him, we talked a lot, and eventually it was a really good experience. I tell you, if you do this silly and unusual things in your life, you will certainly break through this barrier of hesitation. You just need to try and find out the most appropriate way to do it, whether it will be similar to my experiment or to Jai-Jan's one. This is it, guys. We have moved to the end of our podcast. I hope you enjoyed it and absorbed a bunch of new information that will help you in smashing fear and hesitation. Please share this episode with your friends if you consider this is exactly what they need to listen in order to advance their lives. Have a good day and see you the next time, my dear advancers.